my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
Nobody saw it coming, not like this. When the news broke that Teyana Taylor had secretly recorded Aaron Pierre during one of their private conversations, fans were stunned. But when the contents of that recording started spreading online, everything changed. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It wasn't just drama. It was heartbreak. Real, raw, and absolutely explosive. What started as quiet speculation about trouble in their relationship quickly spiraled into a public unraveling that neither of them could control. For weeks, fans had been noticing subtle shifts. Teyana wasn't posting Aaron as much, and when she did, there was a noticeable coldness behind her eyes. Smiles didn't reach her cheeks. Captions got shorter. The energy between them, once so vibrant and magnetic, had turned distant. And still, nobody wanted to believe it. After everything she went through with Iman, people wanted to see Teyana finally find peace. A love that didn't hurt. But sometimes, what happens behind closed doors tells a different story. The first red flag came when Teyana posted a cryptic story that read, "Some truths don't need to be shouted. They just need to be documented." Fans brushed it off, assuming it was a general message about life. But that sentence would take on a whole new meaning when the audio leaked. Because that's exactly what she had done, documented the truth. And that truth? It was chilling. In the leaked recording, Aaron's voice is cold, detached. The kind of voice someone uses when they've already made peace with walking away. "You knew this wasn't forever," he says. The silence on Teyana's end makes the statement land even harder. Then she responds, her voice quiet, barely a whisper, "So I was never enough?" That one line sent shockwaves through social media. It wasn't just the words, it was the pain in her voice. Fans said they could hear her heart breaking in real time. From that moment, everything snowballed. Blogs ran with the story. Fans dissected every sentence. Celebrities started posting vague, supportive messages. And then came the real bombshell, the divorce papers. Teyana had already filed. Quietly, discreetly. Long before the recording went public. People realized the audio wasn't about vengeance or revenge. It was about protection. It was evidence. And now that it was out, it painted a picture none of us were ready for. Aaron's response, or lack of it, only made things worse. While Teyana's fans rallied behind her, demanding she be treated with respect, Aaron remained silent. His team eventually issued a short statement claiming the recording was taken out of context. But by then, the damage was done. The world had heard it, felt it, judged it, and no PR spin could erase the impact of a woman's trembling voice asking why she wasn't enough. The days following the leak were painful. Teyana went completely silent on social media. Not a word, not a post. But silence, when it comes from someone like her, speaks louder than anything. It was clear she was regrouping, healing, rebuilding herself. But her friends weren't as quiet. One of her closest posted a throwback video of them laughing, captioned, "She gave everything," even when she had nothing left. Fans immediately took it as a dig at Aaron. And they weren't wrong. The recording had pulled the curtain back on months, maybe years, of emotional exhaustion. Of Teyana trying to hold something together that was already broken. And what hurt most was how familiar it all felt. So many women saw themselves in her. The slow fading of affection. The quiet withdrawal. The way a man can stop choosing you long before he ever leaves. As the public rallied around her, Teyana finally posted. A single photo, her hand, pen and fingers, signing what looked like legal documents. The caption? Just a black heart emoji. No words were needed. Everyone understood. This was the end. And not just of a relationship, but of an illusion. The idea that she'd finally found someone who would stay. Meanwhile, Aaron was spotted out in LA, attending an event like nothing had happened. He smiled for cameras, but the comments section told a different story. "Why are you smiling while she's breaking?" one person wrote. Another said, "You lost the realest one and didn't even flinch." The backlash was swift, brutal, but many felt it was deserved. And then came the final twist. Teyana announced a new project, one she'd been working on in silence. A short visual titled Muted. The teaser showed her walking down a courthouse hallway in slow motion, intercut with audio clips that sounded eerily similar to the leaked recording. It was clear she was turning her pain into art, as she always had, as only she could. In interviews that followed, she didn't name Aaron. She didn't have to. Her message was clear. When asked how she handles betrayal, she smiled and said, "I record the truth and let it speak for itself." That one sentence was enough. It echoed everywhere. Fans reposted it with messages of strength, of survival, of refusing to stay silent just to keep someone else comfortable. Because Teyana hadn't just recorded Aaron's words, she'd recorded her freedom. She'd captured the moment she stopped begging and started choosing herself. And the world witnessed it all. But the story didn't stop there. As Teyana's video continued gaining traction, another piece of the puzzle emerged. A close insider leaked a screenshot of a private group chat where Aaron allegedly vented about feeling trapped in a relationship that wasn't going anywhere. His exact words? "She's a beautiful woman, but I can't be someone's therapist." That message added fuel to an already blazing fire. Fans quickly pointed out the irony, how Teyana, who had always held others up, was now being called too much just for needing support. The comment sections on Aaron's social media turned into battlegrounds. Even some celebrities unfollowed him quietly. It wasn't just about a breakup anymore. It was about what it exposed. The societal expectation for strong women to never crumble, to carry pain quietly, to not need too much. And Teyana shattered that narrative by showing her vulnerability unapologetically. Soon after, Teyana did something unexpected. She went live on Instagram, not to cry, not to rant, but to talk. Calmly, honestly. She said, "This wasn't about embarrassing anyone. I recorded that because I didn't want to gaslight myself anymore. I needed to hear what I already knew." That line hit different. Because how many people have stayed in relationships hoping they were wrong about the hurt they felt? She spoke about emotional abandonment, about pretending things were fine for the sake of image, about waking up every day hoping her love would be enough to change someone who had already left emotionally. And the comments poured in, hundreds of thousands of people telling her they saw themselves in her story. That she wasn't alone. That live changed everything. It turned what could have been another messy breakup into a movement. A conversation. About boundaries. About choosing peace over performance. About documenting the truth not to destroy, but to survive. Aaron didn't respond. At least not publicly. His silence grew louder with each passing day. And the industry started noticing. Offers slowed down. Interviews were canceled. He went from rising star to controversial figure overnight. Not because of a mistake, but because of how he handled someone else's pain. Meanwhile, Teyana soared higher than anyone expected. She quietly but powerfully announced a new partnership with a prominent women's empowerment organization, aligning her brand with a movement bigger than just music or drama. Then came the release of her documentary-style video titled Muted, which was quickly picked up by a major streaming platform, drawing in viewers who were eager not just to watch her story, but to truly understand it. For the first time in a long time, fans weren't just cheering her on, they were learning from her, finding inspiration in her resilience. This wasn't merely a story about heartbreak or love lost. It was a deep, unfiltered exploration of what it really means to choose yourself, loudly and unapologetically, even when your voice trembles and your heart feels shattered. Teyana Taylor didn't just survive the fallout from her public struggles. She transformed that pain into powerful fuel for growth and change. In a final, poetic twist, a fan-run Instagram page shared a touching photo of Teyana walking hand-in-hand with her daughter, both rocking matching hoodies emblazoned with the words, "Unmute me." The message was crystal clear. she would never go silent again. In the very silence she had once lived through, she found her loudest, most authentic voice yet. And in doing so, she transcended the headlines and gossip. Teyana became more than just a story on social media. She became a mirror for every woman who's ever quietly questioned her own sanity, whispered, "I'm not crazy, this is real," and found the courage to finally speak out. Her journey reminded us all that sometimes the loudest voice is born from the deepest silence. Sometimes strength looks like walking away. Sometimes it sounds like a recorded call. And sometimes it's found in the silence that follows. This is how Teyana reclaimed her story. This is how she proved that truth doesn't need a stage, it only needs a voice.